Cooks, today we're making bread machine potato dinner rolls. These are light and fluffy rolls. They're absolutely fantastic and they will disappear as soon as they come out of the oven. So join me. Let's make bread machine potato dinner rolls. Okay, so I am using 3 potatoes. We're going to be needing 1 cup of mashed potatoes. 3 potatoes will probably give us a little extra so we can have a little snack, right? So I peeled them. We have them in water. I started off them in cold water and we're heating them up. We're going to heat them to their fork tender, take them out and mash them. So one of the things about these rolls, as opposed to the other bread machine dinner rolls that I did, is they are really soft and fluffy. And what kind of rolls you make really depends on what you're eating them with, right? If you want a harder, sturdier roll, you might go with a hard roll. So your guest and your family can maybe make a sandwich. Maybe you have carved meats. You want a really sturdy roll. The other bread machine dinner rolls that I've done are a medium hardness, right? They're not hard, crusty rolls, and they're not super soft rolls. They are great. A lot of people eat them for Thanksgiving because you can whoosh with the gravy, right? They're sturdy enough, yet soft enough to be great to eat with the gravy. These are really soft and fluffy. They're going to come out. You're going to be amazed how fluffy they are. So one more reason we're using potatoes is it brings starch into the bread. So to get really crusty bread, you want to take everything out that softens the bread. So starch will soften the bread and fat will soften the bread. So a really crusty bread is going to have water, salt, flour, and yeast. That's it. There's no fat in it. If you want to soften your rolls or your bread up, like we did with the bread machine dinner rolls, we introduced some olive oil in there, right? That's going to soften it up, right? Here, we're taking it to a whole new level, and I'll show you all the things we're putting in here to soften it up, including the potatoes. A lot of people will use out-of-the-box potato flakes, but I don't usually buy them. That's just another thing I have to buy. I always have potatoes. I always tend to overbuy potatoes, right? So this is a great way to use your potatoes up, and you're really working with, the fresh, natural ingredients. So when these come up to a boil and they get fork tender, we'll take them out and mash them up. Okay, it looks like our potatoes are done. I'm going to go ahead and take them out of here. Woo! Give me a facial. Okay, let's mash these taters. So you kind of want a good mash on there because you don't want any lumps in your rolls. It's hot. We're not going to put any salt or anything like this because this is an ingredient. I mean, with the leftovers, you can put salt and butter and a little bit of, have a little mashed potato party. Looks good, so let's get all the ingredients over here. So we're going to be using this Zojirushi. This is the bread machine Virtuoso. I'll put links down in the description. This is like the highest end bread machine that there is, and I love this thing. It's so quiet. And look at the pan on this thing. It's a dual paddle pan. It's got these really easy handles that you can use to get it out of the machine. So the recipe for these dinner rolls is on my website. If you go to amylearnstocook.com, they're bread machine potato dinner rolls. You can find this and print the recipe. So in the pan of our bread machine, and of course you can make this in a stand mixer, right? This is just set it and forget it. So my feelings about the bread machine, I use it as a dough machine. I don't bake in a bread machine. So the Zo is good. The Zojirushi is good because it has a a long pan that makes a horizontal loaf. I still don't bake in it because I kind of think bread machines make it a little denser at the bottom and the crumb is uneven going up to the top. So I make it in the oven. So I'm going to put 1 cup of warm water. That's about 110 degrees. We're going to put 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt. So we are using mashed potatoes to soften this, but we're also going to be adding some fat. So sometimes you'll see milk in potato rolls. The fat in the milk softens the dough. I'm allergic to milk. I can have butter because I'm not allergic to the fat from butter, just the milk protein. So I can have butter. So I have 2 tablespoons of melted butter. So I have 1 egg. Egg will also bring some fat in there and soften your bread. Okay, we have our mashed potatoes here, and I have a cup here, and we're going to basically put a cup of our mashed potatoes in here. I think Eric's going to snack on these as soon as I get these. He's going to throw a little seasoning and some butter in here. So the starch in there is going to soften our bread even further. And next we're going to go with our bread flour. I'm using King Arthur bread flour. We're going to go 4 cups. We have a little bit of liquid in there from the potatoes. There's water in the potatoes. We have the egg in there that's going to provide some moisture. And we're going 4 cups. So we're going to keep a little flour out on the side because it depends on, you know, the humidity, how dry your flour is, the day of the week, I don't know. Sometimes you have to adjust it slightly and dust it with a little bit of flour to get that, to get the ball going. This is a little stickier of a dough than the regular bread machine dinner rolls that I made before. So they're a little tougher to handle, but we will get there. And then on top of here, we're going to add our yeast. Put these ingredients in the order recommended by the manufacturer of your bread machine. So we're going to go ahead and put this in our dough. Woo! Backwards, and now we're going to program it. Okay, so we're going to send our cycle over here to dough. And we're going to go ahead and hit start. So the dough has a warming function where it's going to warm the whole dough up. Not all bread machines have that, so you really have to make sure that you've got warm water in there. Not hot, not cold, like 105, 110 degrees. The dough is going to warm that up before it starts. So part of the way through, I'll give you a look as the dough ball comes together, and we'll see if we have to adjust it at all. But yeah, we're ready to go here. So our dough is underway. So the dough looks amazing. We don't really need to do any adjustments. It will be just very slightly sticky, but this is beautiful. Exact amount of liquid for this amount of flour for this batch. Okay, the dough is done. Whoa, look at that. That looks amazing. Look at that dough. So I'm going to go ahead, and you don't really need to punch it down because as you get it out of here, it's going to punch itself down. Little, tiny bit sticky. I usually take the paddles out so they don't get stuck on the, they have a tendency to get stuck on the posts. So, see that little sticky? Ooh, that's good though. Okay, one thing I forgot to do is put a little grease on the board. You don't want to add flour because it's just flour that hasn't been developed in there. Whoa, look at that. So you can use a little water, or you can spray a little on your hands. Rookie mistake, right? So what we're doing here is we're just going to get a little bit of the air out of here. Look at that. That's amazing. So we want to cut these into 2-ounce rolls. So I'm going to go, I have a little scale here and I'm going to tear it out. And we're just going to cut these into 2-ounce pieces. 2 ounce. 2 ounce. So as I form these, I'm just going to put a little bit here so I can cover the dough, because sometimes it takes me a little bit to form the rolls and I don't want my dough to dry out. So I'm just going to put it in this side bowl while I form the balls. So these are going to be our dough balls. And the way I do this, I've got a lot of dough on my hands too, is you don't really have to spend a lot of time like kneading these. Sometimes, you know, this has gluten, so it's pretty, I don't know how to, it's got a lot of structure to it. So we just want to form the ball till it's kind of smooth. And then I have a glass baking dish here. I think this is a 9x13. I've done this in a metal one, and for some reason it stuck like crazy. So I'm going to oil it down with a little avocado oil. And the only difference between this and using like a 13x9 metal pan with the folded square sides is you will get this one roll in this corner that is like rounded. So you can just roll these balls out into a ball, or you can, here I go with my doughed up hands, you can go like this and squeeze it in the middle, and then you're going to have this, cup your hand on here and roll it here. Let it roll sort of in the palm of your hand till you get a nice smooth ball. I actually got a smoother one on that than I did in my hand.
Do you ever need to let it relax so the gluten can do something?
Well, we're going to be letting these rise. They're going to be rising for another half hour or so until they like...
But when you're forming the balls, you don't have any trouble. You just roll them and it's done.
Yeah. You just want them kind of smooth because you don't want them really ugly looking because they'll rise unevenly.
Now you are touching them in there, right, Boo Boo?
Yeah, I will be.
Or very close.
So you want to make like, I think like 24 rolls out of this. I'll adjust these a little bit. So the touching aspect of this. Normally a roll, if you roll it out and you bake them individually, it's going to brown all the way around the dough. But what we're doing here is we want the dough to touch. So they're sort of like pull apart. They stay soft around the middle. And yeah, it ends up being a kind of appearing to be a fluffier kind of dough, fluffier kind of roll. So let me go and finish panning these up. Okay, so I said 24 rolls. I meant 20 rolls, right? We have 4 by 5. Well, so like I said, If you're using a folded metal edge pan, it will be more square. This one will give us a little more rounded on these. I had trouble when I used a metal pan like that. I couldn't get them out. So this actually has worked better for me. So yeah, it's just a basic 9x13. So we're going to go ahead and cover these. One of the things I can say is when you're shaping these things, I was using 2 ounces. It will be a lot better if you use grams because my scale, the difference between like 2 and 2 1/4 is huge over the course of 20. So then you end up short one. So if you use grams, like 56 grams,
between 50 and 55 is good.
Yeah. 56, I think, would be exactly 2 ounces, right?
Exactly.
So it's a little more accurate. So if you have grams on here, do 55 grams. Otherwise, do 2 ounces each. We need to let these rise till they're double in size, and we'll be ready to bake. So we'll be back. Okay, I have the oven set. If you have conventional 375, I have a convection, so mine automatically adjust it down to 350. So 350 convection, 375 conventional. And the rolls are looking mighty good. So these are going in the oven. 5 minutes before they're done, I'm gonna brush them with butter and then let that butter set. So probably take about 30 minutes. And so when we are ready for butter, we'll be back. Okay, looky. Time for a little butter. Oh my gosh. Butter them up, boo. Butter up them buns. That looks mighty fine.
Looking good, boo-boo?
I say yes. Okay, back in the oven. Okay, our rolls are out of the oven and they looked amazing. So you'll see like in the corner here how this roll is rounded because of this pan. I'm not mad about that. And another thing is you will see the difference between doing rolls separately and doing rolls like this. Because what happens is it browns here, but it doesn't brown in the middle. You get a softer, fluffier roll because this didn't brown. This in here stays soft. So when these are hot. Oh, look at that. That's a beauty. See how that is? See how it's nice and soft in here? Oh, it's hot. That, my friends, is delicious. Got 2 of them. See how they sort of just pull away? Whew, they're hot. Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm gonna take like a lot of these and put them over here. You don't want to leave them here too long because you also don't want to you don't want them sogging. Look at that. Whew.
Yeah.
They're hot.
I mean, you can see the steam coming off of the cooling rack.
Yeah.
They're hot.
Hot homemade potato rolls. Potato dinner rolls. Fresh from the oven, right? Woo! Woo!
Now.
Hot. Wow. Okay. Look at all those potato rolls. Thanksgiving, right? So we're going to break one open here. We're going to slather it with some butter. Hand that off to my boo.
Ooh. Ooh. Thank you.
You get the first hot roll.
Yum.
Homemade potato rolls. Butter. Woo! Wow. Cheers, cooks. These are fantastic. Boy, these are fantastic. They're so soft and pillowy. Oh my gosh, they're so good. I wish you guys were here tasting these. So you can make these in a bread machine. You can actually make them in a stand mixer. They'll work fantastic. These are so good. So good. This is comfort food. Hope you enjoy the recipe. So we're going to be using the Zojirushi bread machine Virtuoso Supreme Olay, right? The Zo is good because it has a long pan that makes a vertical loaf.
Horizontal.